March 28, 1941. Just after 10:00 p.m. The Mediterranean Sea, south of Greece, black, restless, and hiding everything. The moon is thin tonight, not enough to paint the waves silver, not enough to give shape to the horizon. The sea is a vast, breathing void, broken only by the low thunder of engines and the faint glow of shaded deck lights. On the bridge of the Italian heavy cruiser Zara, Vice Admiral Angelo Iacchino stands with binoculars pressed to his eyes. He lowers them slowly. Nothing. No silhouettes, no muzzle flashes, no sign of the enemy. To Iacchino, this darkness is familiar, comforting even. Italian naval doctrine has always trusted the human eye, trained observers, instinct, seamanship. Night fighting is a contest of nerve and experience. Machines cannot see what men can feel. And somewhere out there, he believes, the British are just as blind. He is wrong. Far to the south, slicing through the same darkness, the battleship HMS Warspite plows ahead at speed. Her bow throws seawater into the air like shattered glass. The wind howls across her deck, cold and sharp, carrying the smell of oil and cordite. Deep inside the ship, below the armored deck, a green glow pulses softly. Radar. On a cathode ray screen, ghostly blips slide across the glass, clean, precise, unmistakable. Each one is a ship. Each one has a range, a bearing, a future. British radar operators speak in calm, clipped voices. Contact bearing 085, range 12,000 yards. The darkness has been mapped, and the hunt has already begun. The Italians do not know this yet. To them, the day has already been a success. Hours earlier, the Regia Marina had set sail with confidence. The plan was bold, decisive: intercept British convoys supplying Greece, strike fast, withdraw clean. Italian naval pride is at stake. Mussolini demands action, results, proof that Italy is a true Mediterranean power, not Germany's junior partner. Admiral Iacchino believes this is his moment. His fleet is formidable on paper. The modern battleship Vittorio Veneto, heavy cruisers Zara, Fiume, Pola, sleek destroyers fanning out like wolves. Their guns are powerful, their crews disciplined, their captains seasoned. And most importantly, they believe the night belongs to them. British radar to Italian commanders is a gimmick, an experimental crutch, unreliable, overrated. Real sailors don't need it. Earlier that afternoon, the illusion of control had already begun to crack. British carrier aircraft, obsolete-looking biplanes, ferry swordfish had appeared out of nowhere, slow, fragile, laughable. Until the torpedoes hit. One slammed into Vittorio Veneto, ripping steel and flooding compartments. The pride of the Italian fleet limped away, wounded but alive. Another strike came at dusk. This time, the heavy cruiser Pola was caught. A single torpedo, one explosion. Her engines died instantly. The ship slowed, then stopped. Dead in the water. On Pola's bridge, the lights flicker and go out. The hum of machinery fades into an eerie silence. Men shout. Orders echo down passageways. Damage control teams race to contain flooding that cannot be contained. The sea creeps in, cold and unstoppable. Pola is not sinking, but she is helpless. And Vice Admiral Iacchino faces a choice. Leave her behind or go back. Italian naval tradition does not abandon its own. Against his better judgment, Iacchino orders the cruisers Zara and Fiume, with destroyer escorts, to reverse course. They will protect Pola through the night and tow her at first light. It feels honorable, correct. It feels safe. Because the British, Iacchino believes, will not fight at night. The Italian formation turns northward, engines throbbing, wakes curling behind them like chalk lines on black slate. The men on deck strain their eyes, searching for shapes, shadows, movement. Nothing. The sea seems empty. Too empty. You can almost feel it, the tension creeping in, the sense that the darkness is listening. Somewhere, a junior officer wonders why British shadowing has suddenly stopped. Another checks his watch. Midnight approaches. Still nothing. The Italians do not know that they are sailing directly into a trap already sprung. Aboard HMS Warspite, Admiral Andrew Cunningham stands quietly, hands clasped behind his back. He does not need binoculars. He has radar. The British battle line has formed flawlessly in the dark. Warspite, Valiant, Bahram. 3 battleships aligned like executioners. Radar ranges update constantly. Bearings adjust. Fire control solutions are calculated in silence. Cunningham knows exactly where the Italians are. They do not know he exists. This is not a battle. It is an ambush. At 10:27 p.m., the radar screen blooms with certainty. Multiple contacts, large ships closing. The order is given calmly. Stand by to open fire. Gun turrets rotate with mechanical precision. Massive 15-inch barrels elevate. Breaches close with metallic finality. Italian ships glide forward unaware, their crews relaxed, some men even smoking on deck. Officers peer into the night, expecting dawn to bring clarity. They never imagine that the British are already aiming. At 10:29 p.m., the darkness explodes. A wall of flame erupts from Warspite's guns, turning night into day. The concussion slams into the sea, rolling outward like a physical force. Shells weighing nearly a ton scream through the air, unseen, unstoppable. Seconds later, they find steel. Fiume is hit first. A direct strike detonates near her bridge, shredding command spaces, killing officers instantly. Another shell tears through her hull, exploding deep inside. Fire blossoms from her decks like a living thing. Men are thrown into the sea, burning. On Zara, the shock is total. Lookout scream warnings too late to matter. The cruiser lurches violently as shells smash through armor designed for daylight battles, not point-blank night executions. Italian gunners never fire a single effective salvo. They cannot see their enemy. They cannot even understand what is happening. Within minutes, 2 of Italy's finest cruisers are wrecks. Fiume is a burning, dying hulk. Zara is crippled, her decks awash with blood and debris. Destroyers attempt to respond, but British radar tracks them effortlessly. Secondary guns rake the darkness, cutting ships apart before they can close the distance. This is modern war colliding with old belief. And old belief is losing. And still Pola waits, silent, dark, unaware. Her crew listens to distant thunder rolling across the sea, not knowing it is the sound of their rescuers being annihilated. Not knowing that the darkness they trusted has already betrayed them. The British turn north. They are coming for Pola next. And when they arrive, there will be no fight at all. The sea around Pola is unnaturally calm. March 29, 1941. Just after 1:00 a.m. The cruiser sits motionless, a dark mass floating on darker water. Her engines are dead, her dynamos silent. Only emergency lanterns glow faintly, casting weak yellow circles across the deck. Men whisper, not because they are ordered to, but because something in the night demands it. From time to time, a dull rumble carries across the water, far away, indistinct, like distant thunder over land. No one on Pola knows that Zara and Fiume are already dying. They believe help is coming. Captain Manfredi Alberti stands on the bridge, listening. The wind carries the smell of smoke now, faint but unmistakable. He frowns, trying to place it. A signalman approaches. Signor Capitano, no contact yet. Alberti nods. He does not speak. Italian doctrine has taught him that the British will not engage at night. They will wait for daylight. Everyone knows this. Everyone believes it. The thunder in the distance must be gunfire from destroyers. Harassment, nothing more. Still, the night feels wrong. Too quiet between the sounds. On the horizon, invisible to Italian eyes, shapes move with purpose. British battleships advance slowly, deliberately, like predators circling wounded prey. Radar plots are crystal clear now. Pola appears on the screen as a single, stationary contact. A gift. Admiral Cunningham studies the data without emotion. A disabled heavy cruiser, alone, engines out. No escorts, no maneuvering. No escape. He turns to his staff. Close the range. On Warspite, the crew moves with rehearsed efficiency. Turrets track. Range is updated. Fire control computers hum softly, calculating angles and deflection. There is no tension here. No uncertainty. Radar has stripped the night of mystery. It is simply a matter of timing. Aboard Pola, the first sign of danger is not sound. It is light. A blinding white beam cuts across the water, snapping on without warning. Then another, and another. British searchlights. They lock onto Pola like fingers gripping a throat. The cruiser is suddenly naked. Every gun, every mast, every sailor exposed. For a heartbeat, no one moves. Then panic surges through the ship. British battleships, someone screams. Captain Alberti's stomach drops. Battleships. At night. Impossible. And yet there they are, massive silhouettes emerging from the darkness, their superstructures lit from below by their own searchlights. You can see the gun barrels now. Huge, patient, already aimed. Pola cannot fire back effectively. Her power is out. Her turrets are frozen. Her rangefinders useless. She is a target on a firing range. The first salvo hits with devastating precision. A 15-inch shell slams into Pola's forward section, ripping through deck plating and detonating inside. The explosion blows men apart, flinging bodies and steel fragments across the ship. Another shell follows, then another. The cruiser shudders, screams, burns. Within minutes, fires rage uncontrollably. Ammunition cooks off. Compartments flood. Captain Alberti knows the truth now. This is not a battle. It is an execution. He orders the crew to abandon ship. Lifeboats are lowered in chaos. Men leap into the sea, some already burning, some wounded, some praying. The cold water steals breath instantly, shocking bodies already pushed past exhaustion. Above them, Pola continues to be pounded until she is a wreck, flames shooting skyward, smoke blotting out the stars. At 4:03 a.m., she capsizes slowly, her hull rolling like a dying animal, then slips beneath the surface. The sea closes over her. Silence returns. British guns cease fire. The only sounds now are the crackle of flames on the water and the cries of men floating in the dark. Cunningham gives another order. Cease action, commence rescue. This too is war. British destroyers move in, lowering boats, pulling survivors from the sea. Italian sailors hauled aboard by the same enemy who destroyed their ships hours earlier. Some Italians weep openly, others stare in disbelief. They ask the same question again and again. How did you see us? On the deck of a British destroyer, an Italian officer shivers, wrapped in a borrowed blanket. He looks toward the black shape of Warspite and shakes his head slowly. We thought the night protected us, he murmurs. The British officer beside him does not boast. He simply answers, not anymore. As dawn approaches, the scale of the disaster becomes clear. 3 heavy cruisers sunk, 2 destroyers lost, over 2,300 Italian sailors dead. British losses. A single torpedo bomber shot down earlier in the day. Nothing else. Word of the catastrophe races across the Mediterranean. In Rome, the news lands like a physical blow. The Regia Marina, pride of fascist Italy, has been shattered in one night. Not by superior numbers, not by luck, but by a machine that could see in the dark. And the lesson spreads far beyond Italy. Every naval staff in the world takes note. The age of intuition is ending. The age of electronic warfare has begun. But for the men who survived Cape Matapan, the lesson is simpler and far more painful. They trusted their eyes, and the darkness betrayed them. Somewhere on the seabed, beneath thousands of meters of cold water, Zara, Fiume, and Pola rest together. Silent, testaments to a moment when belief collided with reality. And reality won. The Mediterranean will never feel the same again. Morning comes slowly over the Mediterranean. March 29, 1941. Just after sunrise. The sea looks peaceful again, almost mocking in its calm. The smoke has thinned. The fires have burned themselves out. What remains are oil slicks, scattered wreckage, and men clinging to floating debris, waiting to be seen. British destroyers move among them carefully, methodically, pulling survivors from the water one by one. The battle is over, but its consequences are only beginning. On the deck of HMS Warspite, Admiral Andrew Cunningham watches the horizon as the sun rises. Light spills across the waves, revealing what darkness had hidden. Broken hull plating, splintered lifeboats, twisted metal drifting like bones. This is victory. Yet Cunningham does not smile. He understands what this night truly represents. Cape Matapan was not merely a defeat for Italy. It was the death of an idea. Across the water, Italian survivors sit in stunned silence aboard British ships. Many are wrapped in blankets, their faces pale, eyes hollow. Salt has crusted their uniforms. Oil stains their hands. Some cannot stop shaking. Others cannot stop staring. They replay the night again and again in their minds, searching for the moment where it all went wrong. They find nothing. There was no warning, no chance, just sudden light and annihilation. One Italian lieutenant speaks quietly to a British officer during interrogation. "We believed skill mattered more than machines," he says. "We believed courage could replace equipment." The British officer listens without judgment. "That used to be true," he replies. "Used to." In Rome, the reaction is fury mixed with disbelief. Mussolini demands explanations. Someone must be blamed. Someone must pay. Reports arrive, confused at first, then increasingly clear. British ships firing accurately in complete darkness. Salvos landing at point-blank range without visual contact. Radar. The word appears again and again. Radar. A technology Italian command had dismissed as unreliable, as unnecessary, as something unsuited to the Mediterranean, where clear skies and good visibility supposedly favored the trained eye. Now those same clear skies have revealed the cost of arrogance. Admiral Iachino survives the battle, but his reputation does not. He had followed doctrine, followed tradition, followed what the Regia Marina had always believed. And it led his fleet straight into the jaws of an unseen enemy. In private, he understands the truth. Italy did not lose because its sailors were inferior. They lost because they were fighting the last war, while Britain was already fighting the next one. The effects ripple outward. Italian surface operations are scaled back drastically. Capital ships become cautious, reluctant to venture out without air cover. The Mediterranean, once envisioned as Mare Nostrum, our sea, slips from Italian control. British convoys sail with greater confidence. Malta survives. North Africa remains supplied. Rommel will later feel the consequences of this night in fuel shortages and stalled offensives. Cape Matapan reaches far beyond the ships that sank there, and the lesson is not lost on others. In Berlin, German naval officers study the reports with growing unease. The Kriegsmarine has radar, but not in sufficient numbers, not integrated the way Britain has done it. In Tokyo, Japanese planners read the details carefully and quietly doubled down on night-fighting doctrine based on optics and training. They will pay for that choice later. For now, in 1941, the balance of naval warfare has shifted. The ocean is no longer ruled by the sharpest eyes. It is ruled by the clearest signal, by electrons bouncing invisibly through the dark. Back aboard Warspite, the crew cleans the guns. Soot is scrubbed away. Shell casings are cleared. The ship resumes its steady rhythm, as if the night's violence were just another watch completed. But the men know. They felt the difference. They did not fight shadows. They hunted certainty. Cunningham pens a brief entry in his log. No great skill required. Radar did the work. It is understated, almost casual, and yet it marks one of the most profound turning points in naval history. The Mediterranean remains dangerous. The war will grind on for 4 more years. Thousands of ships will still be sunk. Millions will still die. But after Cape Matapan, no admiral will ever again trust the darkness. Not without asking what might be watching back. Because on that night in 1941, the sea did not favor the bold. It favored the prepared. And for those who ignored that truth, the night was merciless.